Hello and welcome back to Saber Outdoors. My name, of course, is Mark Alexander, your wonderful host. And guys, today we're going to be looking over the Abu Garcia Revo EXD. Guys, this is a very unique reel that I recently picked up from the store. By the way, the store is the greatest place ever. But guys, you won't understand quite why I've picked this up until I start showing it to you. So let me just begin showing it to you. So right here is our reel. Really nice looking reel with those purple accents. Very smooth, nice. Left-handed, which is going to be a bit of a odd thing because I'm not usually reeling left-handed, but I can do it. See, I can do that. But you can see normal spool inside of it. This has a slightly slower gear ratio than I'm used to. This is 5.4 to 1, which is a lot slower than I'm used to. I'm used to, you know, on most of my reels, it's either 7.5 to all the way up to the world's fastest reel, which is 10. But that's okay, because there's a reason that I picked this reel up, and that is because if I pop this open and I take the side plate off, you know, normally, you know, hey, here's your spool. There it is with that plate on the side of it. You can see it's already ported inside. This is a relatively light spool, relatively shallow spool for what it is, but this is the first reel I've ever seen that comes with a spare spool. Now guys, this is not advertised as a BFS reel, but you look at this with me. You look at this spare spool and tell me what you think. In my world, when you see that much porting inside and out as compared to the regular spool, so we got our BFS spool and a regular spool. See how much more porting there is on the one than there is the other? Even on the inside, you can see these aren't as big a holes, and there's not, I don't believe there's even as many. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's still the same amount of holes, but these are a lot larger. Guys, I think this is a BFS reel spool. So at some point, I am going to throw 8-pound line on this. This is probably going to get 14-pound line on it, and we're going to try and see how these compare to each other. But but this is the first time I've ever gotten a reel like that. I'm going to put the regular spool back in, and I'm going to grab the box up and kind of just read off some facts and figures off the side of it. So facts and figures, there we are. Has 11 bearings, brings in 23 inches of line per turn, has 20-pound max drag, weighs 6.77 ounces, and mono capacity is 145 yards of 10-pound line or 155 yards of 20-pound line. And I am assuming that is one spool versus the other spool. So we should be able to get plenty of line on these. But guys, let's take our reel, let's take our spools, and let's go see if we can find some water, some rods, some reels, some line, and see what we can do with it. All right guys, so we made it to our pond, and we have a 1/2-ounce Googan Squad clickbait, and we are using our bigger of our two spools, and this has 14-pound mono on it. Guys, I just want to do a distance test. I want to see how this thing throws. Now I have kind of, you know, just flipped it around to make sure that it's not going to immediately bird nest on me, because that's no fun. But let me fix my Sean lure, and let's just try our luck with a full-on max cast. So let's throw it out there. Okay, pretty good distance. So there's a pallet right behind us. I'm going to set the rod. The reel is on the pallet, as you can plainly see right there, and we're just going to walk until we find our lure. Now, while we're walking, I wanted to tell you all about memberships. Memberships are $5 per membership per month. Now guys, that money is to help me make videos for you. I don't make anything off of ad revenue at the moment, but I do make some money off of memberships. And I would please, please plead for you to get a membership so that you can help your local YouTuber have enough money to go on more cool adventures. Oh, I just kicked it. That's what I did. So right here is our bait. And way over there by my truck, you might be able to still see the pallet. So guys, it throws pretty good. Half-ounce lure with that big spool, not that bad. But guys, let's see how it compares with the little spool. All right guys, so we are going to compare that small spool with this. This is my BFS rod. Some people have asked me what kind of rod this is. I do not know. All I know is it has a really whippy small tip, and it works really well with my BFS stuff. And the reel we're comparing it against is the Shimano Aldebaran. I know we're not exactly comparing apples to apples, but maybe we're comparing apples to pears. But guys, I'm gonna give one good overhand on this, and then I'm gonna take this reel off this rod and put the other reel with that smaller light spool on, and I want to see how it compares to a real dedicated BFS rig. But let's get her up here. I'm gonna put this like we usually do at that second eye to cast with, so that way we have an even a test as possible. But we're just gonna reach back, overhand it, and we're gonna set it down on this pallet like we did before. I'm not going to take you along to find it because that's a tiny lure, not a big jig. So uno momento while I find that. All right, so doing an overhand cast, just like you saw me do, we made it to this spot. You can see my lure sitting there in the grass, and over there is our pallet. So guys, I'm going to change the reel over and put it on that rod and see how it does. But first, I'm going to show you me changing the reel over just to show you how easy it is. All right guys, so all I have is just my two pieces, and I'm going to put you down a little bit so that you can see my hands working. This is just the bed rail of my truck. This is not a, you know, it's not like I need a big table or some kind of special platform. So I've already got my line drawn up for my other. I pulled the line to dig it into the spool, so it shouldn't come unraveled too easily. But we're going to take and open our reel with this right here. We're going to take a side plate completely off, set it to one side, dump our old spool out. Here's our new spool, our ultralight spool. Now I always put this line in first before I put the spool in, just like that. And then I set the spool in, boom, side plate on. I'm ready to put this on a rod and try my luck fishing with it. So guys, we're gonna get this put on our BFS rod. Now, to put this other spool in, if you have a lot of tag in, like if you have this much, sometimes it wants to kind of stick out. I often will put it in the top instead of the bottom, because if it'll go in that, I can put the bottom on and then it's sealed. I don't have to worry about my line sticking out. But guys, let's get this on our BFS rod and let's test it out compared to an actual BFS rig. All right guys, so we have our same rod and we do have that BFS rig set up. You can see that white line compared to the red line you saw earlier. But guys, same exact lure, same exact spot we're starting from. I did tweak the settings a little bit. I'm hopeful that will grant me some distance, but I may take a few shots to see how much distance I can get out of it before the worm turns and it starts nesting on me. But let me make sure that distance is good. Okay, cool. So we're just gonna give it a shot like it is. So yes, it will get out there. Let's see how it compares to the other. Keep in mind, there is a lot of money difference between these two.
I'm gonna pick this line up and follow it. There is a lot of money difference between these two setups, so I'm wondering if this will end up being one of those Swiss Army jobs. So right here is our rig sitting right there. Right there is our piece of wood from earlier, and there is our pallet. Now I'm gonna see if I can massage this to get a better, longer cast, and if I can, I'll show you that. If I can't, then we're just gonna jump on into fishing. All right guys, so we still have our little micro chatterbait on, and I tried my luck throwing it with lighter breaks, and it immediately bird nested. So we have reached the absolute minimum on those, but guys, let's see if we can get this in here and maybe pick up a small bluegill, bass, something. Come on. Guys, if ever I have a tank bass, it's probably gonna start this big, because quit your shaking. So guys, proof positive, it works. Yes, we can catch fish with this. Of course, this was no challenge to us. I'm gonna get a picture for the gram on the odd chance this is the only fish I catch. So if you're not following the gram, you are behind. All right guys, we threw that one back off camera. We're gonna see if we can get into some more, because I could catch fish like that, even though they're not huge, all day. Come on with it. Today is the curse of the micros. This is even smaller. But guys, we appreciate each one that we get, because it's a lot better than catching nothing. There he is, barely 5 inches long maybe, and back he goes. Completely safe. Had a nice conversation with some young people. It's always good to talk to anybody. If you all see me out, come say hi. But we're gonna get back to fishing with our little micro chatterbait and see if we can get one. So far we're having a day where it's curse of the dinks, but it's better than nothing. I'd rather have a ton of dinks than a ton of nothing. Come on. He must have hit that thing as soon as it hit the water. Oh, did he want that? Look, he's got that almost plumb down almost to the head. Well, you must have wanted it bad. Well, he ain't no improvement on size, but hey, 3 bass. That's a pretty good day for most people. But let's get back in there and see if he doesn't have more friends. Let's see if he has a bigger friend. I may end up having to go to back to that Guggen Squad clickbait. If I don't catch one soon on this, that's what I probably will end up doing. All right, guys, so we switched it up, but we switched over to a full-on frog, because there is a ton of trash at this end of the pond that I'm fishing today, and I want to know, is there any hope that there's a bass laying underneath all this? As the motorcycle gang comes through. I did not change the settings at all from one spool to the next, and I did not bird nest it, so hooray. For anyone that's wondering, this is not a jig rod. This is not jig line. This is probably not, I said jig. This is not a frog rod. This is not a frog reel. This is not a frog setup. But you know what? If I catch one, who really will care? Oh, I'm on. Let's get it back over there, guys. Oh, one tried for it. He followed it. Oh, I'm on. Our first frog fish of 2024. Let's skim in. I know some people want it to be a long fight, but it's not going to be a long fight today. Woo! Well, guys, I'm definitely getting a picture of this for the gram. I know it's not no giant, but you saw what I've been catching today, and it's not been amazing. So we're going to get a picture for the gram. If you're not following the gram, you are behind. Cool. Well, guys, we've got our gram picture. I'm very happy about the day. Thank you so very much, my guy. We'll see you another day. And guys, I think with that, we're gonna go back to the truck and talk about this. All right, so we've had our Abu Garcia Revo, what numbers was it? EXD. We have used this to catch not only small bass with the small spool, we've also caught frog bass with the big spool. And guys, what are my final thoughts on this? My final thoughts on this: if you have the opportunity to buy this for cheap, it's not bad. There's nothing wrong with it in any way. But if you are buying this specifically because it has that dual spool, guys, it's not worth it. You would be much better served by buying a Zephyr and a regular $100 reel than buying this specifically because it has that really light spool. But guys, I will tell you that the light spool works. You saw we caught 3 bass with it, and we caught 1 with this on our heavier spool. And the spool change is not that bad. I can speak no ill against this reel as far as how it fishes, how it does. Cast a mile. You all saw whenever I caught that bass, I put that lure plumb on the other side of the pond and slowly worked it in. This is a nice setup, but if you're buying it just because of the dual spool, I wouldn't. But if you're buying it because you want something with a light spool and a heavy spool for bass fishing, and you're not wanting to do BFS fishing, I think this is worthwhile. But like I say, if you're thinking this is going to be your BFS rig and your bass rig, you are mistaken. It's not both. It's okay, but it's kind of like Swiss Army knife. They do a lot of things okay, but they're not as good as the real tool. But as far as the end of this video goes, that's all I have to say on the reel. Now, one thing I do have to say to you all is, if you all want to support me, you can do $5 memberships. But if you want to keep doing the free 99 thing, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell notification. Again, membership's $5, or if you want to do the free 99 thing, subscribe. But thank you so very much for watching. We'll see you somewhere in the woods or on the water.